Okay, the resolution dealing with the queer delegate empowerment. Who is making, all right, go to microphone number 4. State your name and conference.
My name is Helen Ride. I'm a lay delegate from the Western North Carolina Conference. I'm here today standing in solidarity with the other queer delegates from the Southeast jurisdiction and nearly 60 openly queer delegates across the connection, and with those who came before us to pave the way for a church that welcomes and celebrates all people for who God made them to be. Many of us in this room are here today because of the 2019 General Conference. The US Church rose up in a great prophetic response to the passing of the traditional plan, and this resolution is part of that response. Across the SEJ, we elected a record number of openly queer delegates to do the work of the church. But to be clear, queer people have been involved in the work of the church for countless generations, hidden away in stained glass closets. We're here today with a simple request. We just want what everyone else has. We don't want special treatment. We want the same rights, freedoms, and protections within the UMC as our straight and cisgender siblings. We want to be seen as fully human. Some of you don't know what it's like to stand at a microphone and ask for this. I know, and I'm grateful for those of you who do understand this. We acknowledge that our Black, Indigenous, and people of color siblings have lived and are living these realities daily. We've seen this painfully here today. And the reality is, some of you don't know what this is like. None of us should have to do this, ever. I pray for the day where moments like this are no longer necessary, where anyone needs to stand in front of a body of people pleading for basic rights and privileges as a human being, a child of God. This is a watershed moment for the SEJ, an opportunity for us to make clear our hopes for the future of the UMC. Will you accept our full humanity, our call, our marriages? Jesus said there will be a day where every person is loved and celebrated for who God created and called them to be, on earth as it is in heaven. Friends, now is the time. Let it be so. Thank you.
Thank you for making this presentation. Oftentimes we make decisions that we sometimes are not deemed to be the most felt to be the most advantageous. In looking at this resolution, this is calling for us, from my perspective, to violate the Book of Discipline, and especially Judicial Council Decision 866 in mandating us as a jurisdiction to do something. So with that understanding, I'll need to rule this particular resolution out of order. At this time, I'd like to call for the third resolution, which is the resolution on regional conferences. At this time, I'd like to call for the presenters of the resolution on regional conferences.
I'd like to call it point of order.
Point of order is for a particular rule? No, sir. A rule of what ruling? Rule of law for what? No, sir. That rule is not, no, no, sir. At this time, I'd like to call for the presenter of the regional conferences. At this time, I'm going to call for a recess of our meeting tonight, and I'll have a conversation. Thank you. We'd like to call for at least a recess for 15 minutes. If we could come to our seats, and I think microphone number 4 is going to be sharing an amendment to this particular resolution that might bring it back into order. So if you will have your seat.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
And state your name and conference.
My name is Matt Daly. I'm a lady delegate from the Florida Conference. Pursuant to our conversation, the authors of this resolution are offering a small amendment to point 6, amending the word commits to aspire. We aspire to.
All right, is there a second to that amendment, that motion for amendment? Okay. All right. All right. All right. So that is a motion to amend by wording. Is there and that's speech for? Is that speech against?
I'm speech for.
I'm looking for a speech against at this particular point in time. Okay. Yes. State your name and conference.
I'm Carter Ellis from the Western North Carolina Annual Conference, and I'm going to make a speech for this amendment to the resolution. Friends, in our walks with Christ, and I'm an ordained clergy person, and one of the things that I stood up on that stage and committed to and said yes that I would is that I am going on to perfection. Do I believe that it can be made perfect in this life? I said yes, I stand by it. Am I there yet? No. But we have not lived into moving towards perfection and caring for our LGBTQI brothers and sisters in Christ here in this space. And while the word commit might sound like it is asking for perfection, it is far from it. We recognize that changing aspires to the word aspires, it moves us towards this aspiration to move towards perfection, to including our LGBTQ brothers and sisters in full connection. We're willing to make this aspiration. But I encourage you to think deeply about how the Spirit is moving within you and around you to love all of your neighbors into perfection, so there's not simply an aspiration, but a reality.
Thank you. Any other speeches? Are you ready to vote on this amendment? All right. If you approve this amendment by the changing of the word commit to aspire, signify by raising your hands. All right. Your hands down. Those opposed? And it does Passed. The motion passes. So now this is the resolution that is now before us with the change as amended with the change of language. Is there a speech, any other speeches that we need to have at this time? Call of the question. You ready to call the question? Just raise your hands. Those opposed? It's now properly before us. If you approve this resolution with as amended, would you signify by raising your hands? Hands down. Those opposed? And the resolution is approved. At this time, I'd like to ask